This criticism of The Idol with The Weeknd and Lily Rose Depp is completely unfounded. The big prevailing narrative in the hip intellectual circles of New York and LA is that it's torture porn, it's exploitative of women, and it kind of is, and that's for sure the point. That aside, I mean, I love this show for a lot of reasons. The behind the scenes, the turmoil behind the scenes, which people are trying to use as to be illustrative of how bad the show and how creatively bankrupt it is, even more enriches what the story is about, which is about LA backstabbing, egomaniacal individuals who can't agree on anything to create, entertainment drivel. It's real life mirrors its fictional narrative, which I think is just chef's kiss. It's one of those sort of lightning in a bottle type of things. But all that aside, it's like there's a hypocrisy in criticizing this show. It's like our culture is we're weirdly hypocritical. Dahmer, the Ted Bundy show. People celebrated these shows. People love serial killers and true crime. And again, let me just be clear: The Idol is a bad show. It's horribly acted. But again, I even think that's kind of the point. And there is a sort of humor and a laughability to me in, sort of shitty, frumpy The Weeknd being this, intimidating, street hustler, sexual manipulator when he just looks like an oaf. He looks like a 2-bit pimp. And yet he's manipulating this, traditionally beautiful, blonde white woman, which, let's be real here, I think that's a huge part of it. I think people are very uncomfortable with a black man, light-skinnedness be damned, being in sexual and physical control of, a dollish white woman, all right? It's like we're okay with celebrating, the Dahmer story when he's got black gay men contorting in front of him on his floor, being like, oh, you want to watch some Hater? You want to get some Sunday hot ham and I'll fucking drill a hole in your head? Oh. White people love black torture porn. They love torture porn when it's black people. They love slave movies. They love serial killers killing black people so they can be like, oh, the horror and oppression of these people. I'm a good liberal. But the second they turn that shit around, they're okay with, traditionally handsome white men killing white women, but don't let a nigga get a hold of them. So yeah, it's a weird criticism that I think is very, very patently obvious why people don't like it. I think it's beautifully shot. The direction's a little weird, but the composition of shots is beautiful. Again, the show, a lot of the acting is fucking god-awful, but if you've lived in LA and if you've worked in the entertainment industry as I have, and you've been in the circles of the fucking wildly rich individuals who lose their minds there, being able to manipulate and be vampires off of other people's creative aspirations, it's a pretty good snapshot of what Los Angeles entertainment industry is like. So I don't understand why people don't like this show. I think it's interesting. I think it's vulgar on purpose to show you what LA is really like. And, people are hypocritical because they like all these other torture porn shows that are out there. They just don't like it when it's a light-skinned black man with a bad haircut doing it to a pretty white girl, frankly. So if you haven't watched it, I think you should. And, I was talking to a buddy, and he's just like, I'm like, hey, have you watched it? He's like, the girlfriend says no candula. Yeah, it's an embargo. Like, it's like people come together for these groupthink conclusions on stuff, and they don't watch or think about shit for themselves. It's like, well, this is a mark against this group, so I cannot do. It's like, just think for yourself. Again, it's a pretty bad show, but it's like bad in the way that everything else is fucking horrible in our world, in television entertainment. It's like, come on, this is par for the course. It's the same thing with like Donald Trump. Not see, I always get it in there. People were always shocked about how Donald Trump was elected president. They're like, how could a reality TV star be elected president? What do you watch all day? Oh, reality TV? People can't divorce that these things all bleed into one another, and they think that they can like be in isolation of one another. But it's like, no, Donald Trump was a monster you created. The Idol is a reflection of what you like, but you don't want to have the mirror held up to yourself. Booyah!